computer. Oh, okay, hey, welcome, welcome, welcome. Gonna fix my camera really quick here. Yeah, you're gonna need blocks and maybe a blanket. I always like to have a blanket, a mat, yoga mat, something that's gonna be sticky. And let's get situated here. Place your actually, we're going to start standing, so we'll just move that to the side for a moment. And a real quick second just to shake things out. I've got deer under the tree this morning. They love it in the yard. Shake, shake, shake. And then bring the arms widen up. Full breath in. We'll bring the hands in the symbol of consciousness, so just the seal here. With the feet wide, confident stance right here. We'll just pull it down into goddess pose and then bring the arms back up. Sweeping motion and then exhale into flower. Lotus pose. All the way back up. Exhale down. Inhale up. Exhale, flower pose. Or flower sweep. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. In through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Inhale. Nose, exhale. Go 2 more. Contemplate the day. Any heaviness, blow it out. As you inhale, exhale, last full iteration. And release it. Still standing wide with the feet side to side. Inhale to the right, exhale to the left. So it's in through the nose, out through the mouth. Take this at any pace that you'd like. That can be forward, but what we're really doing is just tapping hips. And up to the shoulder. It's like a beating of the heart and tapping the heart, the shoulder. Again, keep the rhythm very space and to our own pace. Inhale left, exhale right. Inhale left, exhale right. One more. Great. And one. And shake it out all over. Take some big shoulder rolls. All the way back up high. Reach to the sky, interlacing the fingers over to one side. And inhale, pick back up. Exhale over to the other side. Inhale, pick it back up. Now pause here, exhale. Inhale, up and over. So it's going to be a different breath. This is the inhale, exhale, back to center. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, back to center. Use the obliques. Inhale, up and over. You're going to just pull this whole side body. Lift yourself up. The firm grip to the floor with the feet to help build that strong foundation will help support the movement. Inhale here, wide open to the side, and exhale, and then swing The arms back down. We'll take a moment just to open up the hip. So you're going to place a hand on a wall or a table, something that stabilizes you. And then as you're facing one direction, this is the wing. So it's just swinging forward and back. You want to get a good range of motion. It's bent. I'm brushing the floor. So what you're hearing is that little brush, brush, brush. And they come forward and back through the ball of the foot. I'm going to get some loose right through the hip area and this joint. And then we'll take the pendulum forward and back, side to side. So it's across the body. Left, right. Again, just sweep on the 3, 2, and take a wide stance, shake it out. We'll go to the other side. A long time to sit on one side. So hand stabilizing, go forward and back. Stay steady and even with the breath. And the whole torso stays upright. So you're trying not to move through the middle. Keep the middle super strong and the swing is in. 4, 3, 2, and then we'll go across the body. The range is a little bit shorter, especially as it crosses over to the right, but swing it wide and then bring it in. 4, 3, and 1. And then again, just a little shakedown through the legs. Arms come overhead. Inhale. Full breath in. Exhale. Full breath out. Wide confident stance. Inhale. Arms to the sky. Exhale. Back down. And then we'll take a little wider stance. Inhale. Overhead. Exhale. Take it down. You're going to bend the knees. Bring the hands all the way to the floor or a block. If you have a block, that's awesome. You're going to place the hands on the block and then just shift the hips side to side as you bend one knee and the other in a way that feels more opening the posterior chain for you and wakes up the legs. Lift the hips side to side. Then you're going to plant the hands in front of you, right underneath the forehead, and then push the floor away. So the hips move back, and we want to lengthen the side body, bend the knees slightly, and hinge here. Some friends are going to have a pretty big bend in the knee to reach the floor. That's just totally fine and acceptable. Or maybe you're upright on the blocks. That's great as well. Let's come back to center, plant the left hand to the floor, bring the right arm up in a twist all the way around with the hand to your back pocket. And hold. Let's actually bend the left knee and straighten. Inhale, bend. Exhale, straighten. One more time. Unwind slowly, bring it back to the earth. Right hand replaces the left hand and we'll slip it up to the left. The arm all the way around, opening the shoulder. A little twist. And if you like, bend the right knee and straighten. I like the stretch that happens in the shin and calf. It's more in the calf than anything. And then straighten. One more breath. And then release it, bringing it all the way around. We'll jump the feet together. Inhale to Malasana. So you bring the hips to the heels and hands to the heart. So your feet are going to be a distance apart, maybe a little bit wider. See if you can bring the heels all the way to the floor. And I know there's going to be some tightness in your low back and some tightness in the knee. So what you can do here is use a block and sit on the block. Bring your feet a little bit wider and get the shape of the pose in your body. So sometimes the tightness in the inner thigh and the tightness in the low back won't allow you to do this without a block. So you manage that. And if you are off, we're actually all going to come off the block, push the feet into the floor, skyrocket upward with the palms together. That'll be our inhale, exhale, bring it right back down and touch elbow to knee, stay upright through the torso. Exhale, shoot up, it's like a rocket. Let's inhale, sorry, exhale, bend and tap. Inhale, shoot it up. Exhale, bend and tap. Inhale, shoot it up. Stay here, bring the feet together. Full breath in, full breath out. Exhale, and then inhale over to one side. Exhale, back to center. We're reversing that breath pattern. Inhale, up and over. Exhale, just so you can feel the difference. More of an, the emphasis is on the exhale through the waistline to pull yourself back up and that contraction. Inhales is a release in the side body. Over to one side, exhale is back up. Last one. Nice, and then take it back. Your gaze will be up at the fingers, opening up through the heart. Stretch it long and tall. Keep your feet planted, earthing to the floor. Ignite the power in the quads and the legs by lifting the kneecap, engaging the quadricep, and then bring it back to vertical. Take a forward bow. And earth, bend the knees to get there. Inhale, flat back. And exhale, fold in. Inhale, stand tall through the feet, coming all the way up, arms overhead, and exhale, hands to the heart. We'll do that again. I'm going to just turn to the side. You can see from the side, inhale, reaching. Exhale, forward bow. Inhale, half lift. Could be hands on shins. It actually could be the hands on the floor too. I'm a little bit tight this morning, so hands on shin for me. Exhale, round it down and in. Inhale all the way to standing. So you see I had a little slight bend in the knee. Flat back. Rising all the way up. We're going to take that again, this time with the feet just slightly wider. Exhale, forward bow. Inhale to a half lift. Exhale, bow in. And we're going to repeat that. So inhale, flat back. So lift it up, shoulder blades on the back, and really get a tabletop here. A nice length through the spine. Exhale, round it in and down. And one more time, inhale to a lengthen, exhale, fold in. Now this time, as you lengthen, bend the knees, keep the fingertips on the floor, and bring the chest all the way to the thighs. So the thigh gets parallel. That's the inhale. On the exhale, you're going to shoot the hips up, push through the floor, and bow in, dangling in a forward fold. Let's do that a couple more times. Inhale, flat back, bend the knees. Exhale, push the floor away, lift the hips, and drop the head. Forward fold, one more. And exhale, bow in. And then clasp the hands around the elbows, bend the knees, breathe out, and just hang there for a moment. side to side. Oh, it takes a little bit of time to warm the body up this early. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, hands to the waist, and inhale, let's press down to the feet. Bring it all the way up to standing, and we'll do a little bit of a sun salutation and then move into some standing postures. Inhale, reach, and balancing today. Exhale, forward bow. Inhale, half lift. Step or jump back. We're going to take a downward facing dog here. Ooh, first one of the day. Pedal the feet. Let's take a moment to wake up the calf. For me, that calf is really tight this morning. Inhale, glide into a plank. Exhale, back. Downward facing dog. Making a rhythm out of it. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. Waking up the shoulder. Inhale, forward. Exhale, back. In a pounce. So you're going to bend the knees here. And then push off and come forward again. Exhale, pounce. Inhale, forward. Last time, exhale, pounce. And then inhale forward, bring the knees to the floor. We're going to lower to the earth in a chaturanga style. Low cobra. And exhale. Back into a downward facing dog. Full breath in, full breath out. Come back into that pounce. And then you can step or jump forward. Feet to hands. Inhale, full extension. If you're using a block, hands on the block. That elevates you just enough to take the stress off the low back. We don't want the stress on the low back. It should be hamstrings and a little bit of a stretch in the low back, not a ton. Inhale, come all the way back up. The center, I'm going to just take the hair up. Not working very well. There we go. All right, another sun salutation A. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Exhale, forward bow. Inhale, half lift. Step back into a downward facing dog. Inhale, plank. Exhale, knees lower down, chaturanga. Inhale, low cobra. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Full breath in, full breath out. Coming up high onto the balls of the feet, bend. You're coming back into that pouch position here, and then jumping forward. Feet to hands. Land lightly. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in. Inhale, let's come all the way to standing. Palms together. Exhale, hands to heart center. And then flip the palms towards the floor. Fingertips towards the floor. Looking down in the right here where your wrist touches, there should be a little diamond shape, little space. Okay, so when we fold the fingers down, that little diamond space is there. As you press the finger pads together, so that ignites the power of your forearms. If I relax the fingers, my forearms are they're not going to be ignited. So press the finger pads into each other, looking down, and then you're going to pull or draw the wrists up into what would look like a right angle at the wrist. So we're giving a good stretch, right? So good stretch in the wrist. Even more if you can, pull that up through the chest, waist. And then again, another flip, release, and shake out the wrists. Let's do a big arm circle forward, up, back and down. And one more time. And down, arms overhead. Inhale. Exhale, take a forward fold. Inhale, half lift. step or jump back this time to the complete plank, and then power it forward, lower down chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale back into downward facing dog. We're going to take the right leg to the sky, bend the knee, open up through the hip, circle slightly. Then bring the right knee across the body, underneath to the left elbow, right elbow, circle it back up and around, making a huge figure 8 sign with the knee. Inhale, exhale forward. Inhale, up, exhale forward. Step your right leg all the way through, top of the mat. Plant at the foot, hands to the thigh, and raise up. Here, keeping the back leg super steady and strong. Lift and lower the back heel. So a little pulse action here, lift and lower. And bring the waistline back. Inhale, upright the torso, so the ribs are pulled in, arms overhead. Inhale, exhale, bow forward. Inhale, vertical. Exhale, goalpost. Arms to the dropping down, shoulder blades on the back. Inhale here. Exhale, clasp the wrist, right wrist to left, and take it up and over. So just get that final full stretch through the side body. Inhale, center, and exhale, bring the hands to the floor. And really you can manage that however it feels good to you. Inhale here, exhale, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, so we're moving into that full Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Exhale back. The downward facing dog, feel the difference between right and left. We got same thing on the left side. Left leg lifting, bending the knee, opening through the hip, and taking a big circle through the ankle. And we'll circle the hip by bringing your left knee to the right elbow, left elbow, and up. Big, huge figure 8 circle. Keep the arms strong and not bending at the elbow. This is definitely an arm strengthener. You step all the way through to a crescent, a low lunge, and then into a crescent lunge. So the hands are going to remain on the thigh. It's going to help maintain your balance for a moment while we pulse the back heel. I'm not bending the back knee. I'm keeping it very straight and strong. On the second round, we will bend the knee. So right here, mobility. Pause, hold that ankle at a 90. Pull up, inhale, up, reach to the sky. Exhale, bow forward. Feel the strength and power ignite in your legs. Inhale, up, exhale, goalpost. Inhale, back to center. Clasp the wrist. And exhale, take it to a side stretch towards the left. Anchor the back leg. That's going to help support you in that balance, because it is quite a challenge. Inhale, back to center. Hands to the floor. Step back. Take a chaturanga vinyasa. Inhale, upward facing dog. And then ignite the power of the arms again with a double dip into downward facing dog. Really powerful. So we've got that warm up going. The body is fully awake and alive. Step or jump your feet to your hands. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold in. We'll go a little bit faster, bending the knees deeply, weight back in the heels. Utkatasana. Exhale, sweep the right arm to the side. Inhale, back to center, deeper. Exhale to the left. Inhale, sitting deeper. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or jump back, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Double dip. Exhale, downward facing dog. Right leg to the sky, come through to crescent lunge. right away, bringing the arms all the way up. Inhale. At this time on your exhale, we're going to bend the back knee almost to touch and then straighten back up. And exhale. Inhale, straighten up. Exhale, bend. And then hold the bend, push off with the back foot, and pause as we balance on the right leg. Inhale. Exhale, straight back. Inhale. Mushti Mudra here. Inhale. Let's up by switching the breath on you. Exhale. Mushti Mudra. That's it. Inhale, lift. Exhale. And then we're going to pump it really fast. Inhale. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, and hold steady here. Exhale into warrior 2. Palms overhead. Inhale, straightening the front leg. Exhale, bend. Inhale, straighten. Exhale, bend. This time into Skandasana, so we'll come through a high V. Exhale, tip the toes to the sky, and we'll come left elbow to right knee. Inhale, up and over, warrior 2. Up and over, Skandasana. Inhale here. Exhale, let's go one more time. And all the way back into warrior 2. Reverse the warrior. And come into side angle. Reverse. And side angle. All the way back up. Straighten the front leg. Triangle pose. Full extension through the arm. That should feel pretty good actually by now. Let's bring the left hand to the floor and open to the right side. So we're now in a full twisting low lunge. And we'll move this to side plank. So the right foot steps back, right arm to the lower the hips through the blade of the foot. And if you'd like, you can stay in the low lunge. Okay, there's no reason to go beyond the capacity of your body. I'm just going to plant the hands, step all the way back, take a chaturanga, inhale, upward facing dog, exhale back through downward facing dog. Big breath in, big breath out. You should feel the difference here. Left leg to the sky on an inhale. Let's step it all the way through. Come into the crescent lunge once again. Arms sweeping motion all the way overhead. Exhale, dropping the back knee, touching, but we're just coming in and out. Bend, so we've 90-90, and then straight back up. Almost to touching. That's a full opening of the hip flexor. And now we'll step it forward and balance on the left leg. Mushti Mudra. Inhale, step back. Exhale, step forward. Find your balance. And if you have a hand as you're doing this, if it's the first time, that's a great option. Hand on the wall. I've got one hand on the wall and doing the upward movement. So we get the movement without challenging the balance so much. That's helpful. And we're going to go faster. Stepping back, exhale forward in 4, 3, 2. Now hold the leg all the way back. And 1, open it into warrior 2. That front leg is on fire, so we'll straighten it with a little bit of a rest. Exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, straighten. Bend. This time into Skandasana, so we'll come a high V. Turn the feet outward, palms together if you'd like, or just extend Skandasana. Inhale, exhale, warrior 2. Inhale, open up, exhale, Skandasana. Inhale, and exhale, one more. Reverse the warrior. Folding back through warrior two into a side angle. And if you'd like to really challenge yourself, bring the fingertips to the floor. So you bend a little deeper here. That's going to use the hamstring quad just a little bit deeper. Come all the way back up, straighten the front leg. Triangle pose. The legs stay straight and strong. And then from the heart outward, heart wings expanding. We shine our light through the five extensions, arms, legs, and head. Full breath in, full breath out. Feel the power of your light. Bring your right hand to the floor, and then we'll take it into a twist as you bend the front knee. Elevate the back heel. So you're coming through the low lunge. Hit that posture first. Root down through the right hand. I'm going to step it forward slightly, knowing that we're going to go into plank. And then I'll open to the side, get a beautiful stretch through the hip, maybe circle the arm. Then we'll bring the left foot to the middle of the mat as we turn the whole torso facing the side wall. Lower the hip, keep the blade super strong. Inhale up and over, exhale, lower the hip. Inhale, up and over. Lots of energy through the pads of the fingers. And then plant the hand, step all the way back. We'll take a double dip this time, chaturanga. Slow and controlled. Inhale, upward facing dog. Really building the muscle. Exhale, double dip, facing dog. Powerful. You can feel that. Then bring the knees to the floor. I'm going to sit back on the heels. If you like, you can bring a block in between the ankles here and sit on the block. That saves your knees slightly. Bring the hands together in Vajrasana. Pradama, the lacing of the fingers, thumbs up and the hands on the heart. Full breath in, full breath out. Anchored through the hips, anchored in your thoughts, your mind. What word comes to mind that you want to express in your feeling, in your demeanor today? Nobody wants to go around angry or disheveled or feeling less than. So ignite that power from your heart on how you want to show up for others. You are unique. You have this beautiful bright light. We don't want to cover it up or dim it. We want to shine it like a beacon for others to let their light shine. When you feel in your power, it gives permission for others to do the same. What would that be? Full out, playing full out in your joy, playfulness, loyalty, determination, happiness. To release. Back onto the hands and knees. We'll take a downward facing dog. This time walking your hands to your feet. And they're about hip width again. Plant the left hand, just like we did at the beginning. Open to the right. Take the arm around, clasp the back pocket. And then just slowly unwind, bring it back to center. Plant the right hand, bend the right knee, left arm reaches up and around. Full breath in, full breath out. And back to center. Bend the knees and roll up. Slow and gentle so you're at the back of your mat. We'll take just a moment to support some balancing here, starting with a tree pose. So you're coming onto the right leg, left leg inside the inner thighs. So one foot, inner thigh or inner ankle or inner shin. It looks like this. I have a toe tapping. So that supports a little bit of balance. If you want to take it to the wall, your hand on the wall and then start to move or glide that leg upward and challenge the balance. What I'd like to see is parallel sides, not one hip pushing out to one side. So make sure you're really into the surface of the mat. So you feel that support from the ground up. Branch up, branch out. And then we'll bring it back to center. And release the leg. Interlace the fingers and rotate the wrist. I'm just doing a figure 8 and then reversing it all the way to the left leg. Right foot comes in anywhere, channel of the inner thigh again, your choice. And when you make that happen, wherever the foot lands, the leg and the foot are pushing into each other. You're going to feel that connection and lift, lightness through the heart, upward through the crown of the head. Full breath in, full breath out. Up and out. You're branching up and out. And then bring it back to center. And we'll take it to the first side again. You may repeat what we just did. Or I'm going to do an ankle cross. I'm actually going to hold the leg, the shin, flex the foot, make sure that's not sickled. I'm not pulling the foot like this. Make sure you're not pulling the foot. It's flexed and I'm on the ankle. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is bend the standing leg and then straighten. Wow. I'm really starting to move that hip, the hip socket, the femur bone in the hip socket. Open that hip a little bit more, bend and then settle the ankle right on top of the knee. And of course, you can do that with a hand on the wall. I'm actually just in the middle of the mat with the balance. We're going to touch down, left fingertips to the floor, right hand to the left foot, and press. Straighten the leg. It's going to be a lot of sensation in the hip. Make sure the hips are level. So as you really power up the standing leg and lift the hip into that forward bow, you're getting the full expression or awareness in your left hip. And we'll bend. Bring the elbow to the shin, hands to the heart. And raise back up. And release. Now you could do that all in a chair. So, came up pretty quick. You could do that seated in a chair. All of these postures can be modified. So if you really have your critical thinking on how do I fit the pose to my body, not my body to the pose, right? I'm not trying to see a certain shape. I'm trying to feel something. So we're feeling it in the hip. If you're seated and doing this, perfect. Then you're just going to bend and straighten. And seated is perfectly legit. And then we're going to bend away so the ankle crosses over the thigh, hands to the shin. This is definitely challenging. If you've got a hand on the wall, that will be super helpful. Then we're going to reach towards the ground or a block. So right fingertips to the floor or a block, left hand to the foot. I'm going to show you what the block looks like. Yeah. Right here, just hand on a block. Okay. Then you're going to lift the hip, straighten the leg. Power up, a foot to hand, hand to foot. Power up through the hip. Raise that right hip. Don't let it sink. It should be level with the left hip. Ooh. Yeah. Breathe in, breathe out. Send the hips high and the head low. Full forward fold. 2 more breaths. And a little bend in the knee. Bring the elbows in front of the shin again. So you're supporting that balanced action. And then lift and lower the right leg to the floor. Shake the hips side to side. Very nice. Inhale. Let's take the arms overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, let's walk it back into downward dog. And bring it all the way to the earth, knees, and the heart. So you're laying on the belly, arms out in front, palms together. Inhale and exhale. Namaste, 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 namo namaha. It's simply a prayer from the heart that I move with intentionality today, offering my gifts, light, love, and peace to the world. Then place the hands underneath, elbows underneath the shoulder, Sphinx pose. And then we'll ride the heart forward, shoulders broad and down. Inhaling and exhaling. Turn the toes under. Press the knees into the earth and lift. Now, for some people, that's going to be really problematic because your belly has to lift hard. So it might be helpful to bring the hands to the floor, lift, and then bring the hips back. Then come back onto your forearms. Just going to do a quick abdominal movement. So you shift your knees back, your feet back to the back edge of your mat, bringing the hips and shoulders the same height. Yeah. Pancake the hands together. You're making a nice triangle shape with the forearms. And then we'll keep the right foot down, but just straighten the leg out. You push through the toes, the knee elevates, and then lower it back down. Do the same thing on the left side. Then inhale and an exhale. Back to the right. And left. A nice little tap down. You could do the same thing with both knees up and just lower one knee and lift. Lower the next knee and lift. Or remember, just both knees on the floor and then you're lifting one at a time. This one I'm lowering one at a time. Both knees tap, both knees lift. Both knees tap, both knees lift. Take it back. Come right into dolphin. And back up into a downward facing dog. Awesome. Inhale. Float forward. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Full stretch. We're looking through 4 in the front body. Exhale back into child's pose. Hips to heels. Forehead to the floor. Full breath in, full breath out. Awesome. Let's take it back onto the belly. Bend your back knee, right knee. First, clasp the top of the foot and draw the heel to the glute. We'll take a deep stretch through the quad. Knee staying down. Hip to heel, heel to hip. And tuck the tailbone. If you'd like, both hands to the foot, or you can bring the left arm across the mat, and I like that one. Switch the grip with the right hand so you're actually pressing down through the top of the foot. That can be a very powerful opener for the quad. Quite a deep stretch. And release gently. Take it to the second side. Again, forehead resting on the forearm. You could use a strap here. If the heel comes all the way to touch the hip, when you know you want to go a little bit further, you're going to upright the torso. You get a little more stretch through the quad, a little bit through the hip flexor. That's going to be different for everybody. And then a slow and gentle release. Remember, you're taking this at your own pace. Gently bring it back to the floor. We'll bend both knees. Clasp the top of the foot here. Keep some strength through the belly. So you're going to root down through the hip bone. Press the feet to the sky. And just rock gently side forward and back. Opening up through the shoulders. Full breath in, full breath out. And release, turn the head to one side. Pick the arms down. Shake the hips. Awesome. And we're going to flip this over. So you can just flip it over like a pancake. I'm just going to bring my feet around. And so we're lying on your back. Bring the knees into the chest and give them a nice strong hug. It's going to help your low back. We're going to keep the right knee in and we'll do our healthy back routine to finish out here. So knee comes up to the shoulder. You're going to anchor the left thigh bone towards the floor, making this giant leap here. Again, feel the power and the movement through the joint, through the fascia, the connective tissue. Extend the right leg to the sky. Hold behind the hamstring. Now I'm going to push the heel forward. So my hands are pressing into the back muscle of the leg and pressing the muscle against the bone. All the way up to the hip and then back down towards the knee. Wrapping the hand around the calf. I'm going to gently draw the shin towards the forehead. Bring the forehead up to the shin. Breathe in, breathe out. Remember, we're here for the longevity of it, not to force, not to coerce, but actually just to breathe and move a little bit deeper. Release the torso to the floor, and then we'll take the right leg out to the side. Turn the knee towards the floor, toes towards the floor, heel to the. And some of you are going to really want to bend a standing leg, that right leg, to increase the movement and the feeling of openness. This one is about stretch for me, not like the hip flexor, but you can choose, right? Either one. I'm going to bring that leg back to center and just cross it over about 10 degrees. Now I'm using my hand to foot because I have long arms. I think most folks are going to want to use a strap around the ball of the foot. I don't have one right here, but if you've got something like that, I would use a strap. I'm only 10 degrees off center, oh, maybe 20 degrees off center here. I'm pulling the right hip down and pressing the right foot into the strap. I really want to open up some powerful movement in the side of the leg. I'm going to bring it back to center, ankle over the left thigh, and just pause here. Press into the crease of the hip, pressing the knee forward, activate the foot, and then gently draw the left knee in towards you. Take this to the eye of the needle. feet are active. And if you'd like, you can gently press that right knee open with the hand or the elbow, any version of your choice. Bend the left knee. We're going to gently bring the foot to the floor, and then we'll drop over to the left. Full twist. Big inhale, big exhale. That's going to finish it out. Your low back should feel completely at ease. And bring it back to center. We'll do that whole sequence on the other side, extending the right leg down, left knee to the chest. And even if you wanted to fast forward to the end of this video and the evening and take this whole sequence, it's going to help release your low back if you've got any pain there and you've got some chronic issue. I urge you to practice this every single day. So the leg goes to the sky. You're using a strap or your hands behind the hamstring. And then I'm giving a nice snug hug. Hand wraps around the calf or ankle. I'm going to gently draw the shin towards the forehead. Bring the forehead towards the shin. The forehead or torso back to the floor, opening wide. So the knee can rotate just slightly to the floor, heel to the sky. And I'm in a giant split here. Full breath in, full breath out. And then bring it back to center, across the body, 10 degrees. And the foot is in the air. If you've got a strap, use the strap. I'm holding so I can press the foot into the hand and pull the hip back. Definitely creating a feeling in my IT band. So cross ankle over thigh here. Feet to the earth. Oh. Release any tension in the hip socket. And then gently glide the right knee towards the shoulder. Feet are flexed. Roll the head side to side. Make sure you're coming into that relaxed state. Then we'll bring the right foot to the floor, slightly over to your left, and then drop the knees to the right. Gently roll the head side to side. Full breath in, full breath out. And when you're ready, you're going to set yourself up for a Shavasana. Getting the feet, the corner pockets, and laying in anatomically neutral. A blanket or something to create the heaviness over the body, to allow the body to release and also keep them warm, still, quiet. Closing the eyes, creating some darkness. All the elements of the body to feel relaxed, into the earth, peaceful. 3, 5, 10, 20 minutes here. Taking this posture any time of the day. When you need a little pick-me-up. Hmm. At least one more minute here. Just revisit your intention. Bring your attention to the electromagnetic energy of the body flowing from head to toe, toe to head. Any sensations you feel are that electricity, that magnetic energy, the pull in the body. We all have it, all can feel that, especially when we are still and in that more meditative state. And deepen the breath in, let the belly rise. Exhale through the extremities. Slowly and gently bring the knees into the chest, roll to one side. It was a very short Shavasana, so I really urge you to spend a little bit more time there as you are able. And then as you come to seated posture, hands to heart center. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. Om Namah Shivaya. With great love, trust, and respect, I honor my heart, my inner teacher. Namaste. Salut, friends.